everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be diving into the new blushes that were recently launched from Armani Beauty, along with the new bronzers from Pat McGrath. Bronzers arrived about a week ago and I just haven't had time to sit down and do a full review on it. When Armani launched their new blushes, I went ahead and grabbed them. They arrived yesterday, so I just decided to combine both reviews into this video. Let's go ahead and jump into the information about each of these products. So we're going to first start with the Armani Beauty blushes. I actually picked these up on the Sephora website. I was able to save 20% off with my Rouge account using the Save Now. Sephora event is still going on, which is the reason why I wanted to go ahead and get the review up. So these retail for $38 each, and you get 3.6 grams worth of product, which is 0.12 ounces, and they come in 7 different shades. Now, on the Sephora website, it looks like there are 6 shades available, but on the Armani Beauty website, there are 7 shades. I will link to both retailers down in the description box down below. These blushes are being described as a silky powder blush that softly drapes the skin with a luminous flush of color so natural that it looks like it's coming from within. It's powered by Armani's Luminous Silk Filler technology. These blushes smooth the skin while delivering a dose of color and a subtle, soft glow finish. So they are ultra finely milled for a texture that applies like silk. The formula is also being described as blendable, buildable for mistake-proof application, long-lasting colors that layer beautifully with other makeup. I grabbed 3 shades and I will be featuring these 3 shades in this review along with swatching the 3 shades that I have next to other blushes so you guys can see how these shades compare. I grabbed shade 50, which is Euphoric. It is being described as a peachy pink. 51 Amour, which is being described as a dusty rose. And shade 52 Ecstasy, which is a cool baby pink. So that's the deets on the blushes. Let's go ahead and jump into the information on the bronzers. If you guys are like me, I have been waiting a very long time for Pat McGrath to launch bronzers. And when I saw that she was launching them, I was beyond excited. These are also available on the Sephora website. So you can use the Save Now to save your 20% or 15 or 10% off. However, there are only 5 shades available on the Sephora website. On the Pat McGrath website, they have 8 shades available. And I actually picked my bronzers up on the Pat McGrath website. These are called the Skin Fetish Divine Bronzers. I have Bronze Nirvana, which is a warm tan bronze, and also Desert Glow, which is a tan bronze with sparkling golden pearl. So the Bronze Nirvana is more matte, and the Desert Glow has a little bit of a shimmering effect. So these retail for $39, and you get 9.5 grams worth of product, which is 0.33 ounces. These are being described as a micro velvet powder, blurring and perfecting, buildable, mistake-proof application, a demi-matte, and also pearl finishes, and it is also a vegan formula. Introducing Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer, the ultimate tool for sculpting and defining radiant beauty with the power of sun. It offers 1 pearlescent and semi-demi-matte finishes. This micro velvet powder bronzer is luxuriously soft and infused with glimmering luminosity for a sun-kissed glow that lasts all day. For shade reference, I am a medium with a golden undertone, and I will leave popular foundations out on the market and what shades I wear in those foundations down in the description box down below so you guys can kind of get an idea of my complexion and how these shades from the blushes and the bronzers look on my skin. So that's pretty much the details on the products that we're talking about and using in today's video. Let's go ahead and jump in the application. We're going to apply the bronzers and the blushes. Then we will go ahead and jump into the swatches and comparisons where I compare the shades that I have next to others that I have in my collection. Once we get through all of those images, I will come back and I will jump into my final thoughts. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Once I get done filming, I'm actually going to get my hair colored. I gotta get, I've been spraying the heck out of my roots to cover my grays. I'm so excited to get my roots done, I can't even tell you. Right away, the one thing that I do not like is that the packaging for the bronzers are exactly the same as the blush. I wish that they were different, only because if you go to reach for them, you know, if they're in your makeup bag, you might get them confused and that might be a pain in the butt. Exactly the same packaging. So that's kind of a bummer. It's not a deal breaker, obviously, but you know, something to take note of. This is Desert Glow. And this is Bronze Nirvana. Okay, so the texture of these bronzers feel really soft. Why do they look so similar? Desert Glow. Okay, so this is Bronze Nirvana and this is Desert Glow. Looks like the only difference is that Desert Glow has some shimmer and the Bronze Nirvana doesn't. So I'm going to go into Desert Glow and I'm using the BK Beauty 107 brush. Oh, cracky crap. Okay, so I totally goofed that up. I gotta grab my foundation brush. Okay, so this is a really beautiful bronzer. Like the texture, everything. And even though I had some issues when I first applied it, like right in that area, I was able to blend it out and I was able to kind of take my foundation brush and go over top and it blends out so beautifully. Other thing I want to point out is I didn't put on any powder yet. So right now I'm just wearing my foundation, which I'm wearing the Traceless Stick Foundation from Tom Ford in the shade 6.5 Sable. And I haven't set my face or anything with translucent setting powder. So this blends really beautifully over freshly applied foundation because I applied my foundation, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, however long it took me to do my brows. I do like a bronzer that is no fuss and it doesn't like stick to your foundation in weird ways. I really do love the way that looks though. It's super soft and really beautiful. Now I'm going to go on this side with the Bronze Nirvana and this one doesn't have any shimmer. This one doesn't have any of that like shimmering effect. It's just a matte. And honestly, the desert, what is it called? The Desert Glow. The Desert Glow, in my opinion, even though it does have a little bit of that shimmering effect, it's just a soft amount of shimmer. Like those two shades are very similar on my complexion. Doesn't look like the Desert Glow shade is on Sephora. It looks like it's only on the Pat McGrath website. I did not realize that the Bronze Nirvana and the Desert Glow are both being described as tan bronze. I guess I just wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the actual swatches. I did know that one of the ones that I ordered had that shimmering golden pearl or whatever. Look at the swatches. Desert Glow does look to be a little bit darker than Bronze Nirvana, but for me, just doing it on my hand. Now, of course, I haven't done it on my arm where, you know, those swatches are a little bit more intense where I'm really, you know, doing a longer swatch where you can really see. But just based on doing it on my hand, they look super similar. They really don't look like there's a different level in shade. It's not a bad thing. I mean, truly, you wouldn't need both. I definitely don't need both. But for me personally, I kind of like the Desert Glow because I do like that it has a little tiny bit of that golden pearl, but it's not super noticeable. Sometimes when I'm using more of those, you know, oftentimes with bronzers that do have that shimmering effect, sometimes it's just way too much and it can look ridiculous. But this one is just very soft and subtle on the skin. I like it. I think it's a really pretty bronzer. Okay, let's move on to the blushes. This is what I was most excited about, only because I have fallen madly in love with the Neo Nude Melting, what are these called? The Neo Nude Melting Color Balms. I am obsessed with these. I have 4 shades and I love them for multiple reasons. The formula is really blendable, really beautiful, pigmented, natural looking, such a natural, beautiful, creamy blush, but the shades are so unique. So the 4 shades that I have in the melting balms is this one, which is one of my favorites. You can see that I have reached pan on this. To put it down here at the bottom of the screen because I'm not sure it's faded off. I could pull it up. Let me look. I cannot find these the Neo Nude Melting Color Balm on the Sephora website. Are they just sold out? Because I can't find them anywhere. What in the world? Okay, so now I got to go to... Okay, now I got to go to the Armani website. Could be the reason why they're not on the Sephora website is there are no shades available. So on the actual Armani website, I was going to say there's no way they discontinued those blushes. They are sold out and they're constantly sold out. As soon as they come back in stock, they're gone again. Come back in stock, gone again. So I kept thinking to myself, no way did they replace the Neo Nude melting blushes with these new ones. No way. Like, no way. So anyway, I hope that's not the case. If anybody knows, let me know because I'm curious and I hope they don't discontinue these because that would be a very foolish mistake. So this one that I've reached pan on, this is shade 30 and this is described as warm coral. This is shade 50 and this is cool mauve. This is shade 51 and this is a peach pink. And then I have shade 21, which is warm brown. And I actually use this. You can see I've almost reached pan on this one. I actually use this underneath my eyes and just as quick eyeshadow. So this is something that I use more on the eyes than I do the face, but these are for the cheeks and the eyes. But I love grabbing this and just like on those days where I'm not wearing any makeup, but I want to kind of contour around the eyes, I will grab this and go like right underneath there, right in the crease, call it a day. So that's what I use this shade for. But my point to all of this is these shades are so unique. So these new blushes are called the Luminous Silk Glow Blush, which 52 is Ecstasy. We have 51, which is Amore. And then this is shade 50, which is Euphoric. And this one, you can see the shimmering look. Look, you can see the iridescence in this. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to go in with this shade. Like blushes that have that pearlized look can either be gorgeous on the skin or disastrous on the skin. It all depends on the formula and if it's done right and it doesn't have a lot of like glittery particles in it. And if the formula is done right, it can just be so beautiful. If it's done wrong, it can exaggerate pores, wrinkles, texture, all of that, especially there on the cheek area. So I'm crossing my fingers and we're going to jump into it. So I'm going to go into the shade. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that is so beautiful. Shut the front door. Shut up. That's so pretty. The other thing that I like is that it's buildable. That was the one thing that I loved about the melting color balms is that the formula was super, super buildable and very buttery. And so as you applied it, you could kind of build it up. You wouldn't have to worry about the brush picking up too much. And I could use whatever brush I wanted. Like you just can't mess it up. No matter what you do, you just cannot mess it up. They're so natural, so beautiful, so blendable, which is just an incredible formula. And this, in my opinion, is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Look how gorgeous that is. I mean, you can see just how beautiful that looks on the skin. It's not super shimmery, and so it's not exaggerating my wrinkles. Like I have some, orange pilly, wrinkly areas right here, and it's not exaggerating that at all. Oh my gosh. You guys. Shut up. Okay, here's the thing. You all know how much I love blush. I'm a huge, huge sucker for blush. And this blush, it is perfect. Perfect. I am like blown away how beautiful this is. Now, this shade is sold out on the Sephora website, but it is available on the Armani Beauty website, and I would link it down. I'll link it down below. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of shade 50. I think I'll just put it like right here. You guys, these blushes. Oh my gosh. So I just put 51 Amore right here on this side. Now I'm going to put shade 52, which is Ecstasy, on kind of the upper, but I'm going to be careful because that is pigmented, right? Holy smokes, you guys. These blushes are incredible. Oh my gosh. I don't even, blah. Now to kind of match things up, I'm going to put a little bit more blush on, but to kind of match things up, I'm going to go into this, I'm going to go into shade 50, which is Euphoric, my favorite, and just go right over top just to give me, you know, I mean, I got a powder too, so don't get too worried, but I just want to kind of match things up because I do need to leave the house today. So I'm going to go ahead and powder and kind of calm this blush down. I'm obsessed, you guys. These blushes are freaking stunning. Okay, so I went ahead and powdered, kind of calm things down, but I'm going to show you guys how I use this shade right here. These are the Melting Cream Color Balms. I'm going to go into shade 21, and I'm just going to show you how I use it to kind of carve out my eyes. Like, I just kind of like smoke that into the lower lash line. It gives you the most natural structure. It's not too much. Like, it's almost like you can't really tell that you're wearing makeup, but it automatically gives structure to the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and put some here in my crease. I pretty much did this all summer long. Like on those days where I just wanted like a nice, natural, kind of easy out the door, this is what I would wear. And the nice thing is it's not too creamy to the point where it like wears off or looks weird in your creases throughout the day. But I just love it. I love how easy it is. And because it's a cream and not a powder, it's like you can rush, right? And you can just like take your finger and tap out any harsh lines or something that you get. So what I do want to do though, is I'm going to go into Euphoria, the number 50, the one that has the shimmering gorgeousness. And I'm going to put this on my lid just for fun. You guys, oh, that is so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Help me. You're so pretty. And because it's meant for the face, it's not like too shimmery for the eyes. You know what I mean? So I'm going to grab the Pat McGrath Desert Glow. And I'm just going to take a fluffy brush and sweep a little bit of that over top, just to add a tiny bit of that warmth. I mean, this is just a super beautiful, easy makeup. I'm also going to take a little bit of that and put it on the lower. Okay, so I went ahead and finished my makeup. This is the final look using the products. Let's go ahead and jump into the swatches. I'm going to swatch the 2 bronzers next to other bronzers that I have, along with swatching those 3 blushes that I have next to other blushes, just so you guys can see how the shades compare. And then we will go ahead and jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. now that we've made it through all those swatches and comparisons, I do hope that those swatches were helpful. I have so much to say about these, so let's get into it. I'm going to start with the bronzers, even though I do wish the bronzer packaging was a little different than the blushes because it might get confusing down into your makeup bag, but the formula is superb. It is stunning. Just a gorgeous overall formula. They did a fantastic job. I would say my only negative is that the bronzers are quite small. You don't get a lot of product. That's not always a bad thing. I mean, truly, it's not. Just to kind of throw some math your way, if we're going to compare the sizes of the Pat McGrath bronzers to a few others out of the market, the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, for example, this is the airbrush bronzer. These are actually refillable. Buy the full packaging and the bronzer. These retail for $58. You get 16 grams worth of product, and that makes them $3.63 per gram. One of the newer bronzer launches in the luxury makeup world are these from Hermes, which the formula is incredible. These retail for a whopping $105, so they're very, very pricey. You get 18 grams worth of product, and these are $5.83 per gram. But the bronzers from Pat McGrath, these retail for $39. You get 9.5 grams worth of product, and that makes them $4.11 per gram. So the ones from Charlotte Tilbury are $3.63, and these are a little bit more per gram. The ones from Pat McGrath are kind of in the middle between the Hermes and the Charlotte Tilbury, just because you just don't get a lot in this packaging. But on the flip side of that, if you're like me and you have a lot of bronzers that you like to kind of swap back and forth, that's not going to be an issue for you. If you're someone that buys one bronzer and uses it and absolutely loves it and repurchasing, just something to take note of. I don't think it's that big of a deal that they're a little bit smaller than some of the other bronzers out on the market. To me, it's not that big of a deal, but that's not going to be the case for everyone. So something to kind of take note of. But as far as the formula goes, they are perfect. Like, the formula is phenomenal. And I actually didn't really expect anything less from Pat McGrath because she's created really beautiful blushes, and I think that's why we were all kind of waiting and anticipating the bronzer launches, just because the blushes are just so velvety and so easy to apply. And you guys saw that I got a little bit crazy on this side with my brush. The way that my brush picked it up and put it on, you could see that it was like really patchy in places, and I was a little bit worried I was going to have to struggle to get it to buff out. It buffed out immediately with no issues, which tells you that that is a really good bronzer formula. I also want to mention, like most of her makeup, the formula is made in Italy, so something to take a note of. But overall, in my personal opinion, the Pat McGrath bronzers are a 5 out of 5. And if you are in the market to try a new bronzer, they're gorgeous. Talk about these blushes from Armani, and I don't think you guys are going to be surprised. I'm absolutely unequivocally obsessed with these blushes. And I hate saying that because I have fallen so madly in love with the Gucci blushes. I absolutely love the Too Faced blushes, and now I am obsessed. And I hate saying that because there's so many blushes that I love. There's so many amazing blushes that I just love. For example, these Neo Nudes. This was all I wore all summer long last year. I was in deep. And then Gucci comes out with their blushes, and I'm obsessed with those. And then I've been absolutely obsessed with these Cloud Crush blushes from Too Faced. And now Armani goes out and does this, and they're just so beautiful. And here's the thing. Are they different than what we already have? Not necessarily, because like I just mentioned, we have a lot of great blushes out on the market, a lot of great formulas out on the market. But this shade right here, in my personal opinion, is incredibly unique. And I don't have anything like it. So as I was going through my blushes, the only one that I kind of found that was somewhat similar was this one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is Ecstasy. And the middle right here kind of has that pearlized effect to it. And so once you put your brush down into it and put it on, it kind of gives you a little bit, but nothing nothing like this one. And like I did say, they are sold out on the Sephora website. However, if you've never shopped on the Armani Beauty website, if you enter in your email, you will receive like a 10% off code or something. So I would recommend that if you were really interested in picking up the shade. And don't get me wrong, shade 51 and 52 are both gorgeous colors, and I definitely plan to use them. This is just so unique because it's hard to find these shimmering blushes that do not exaggerate and accentuate wrinkles and orange peel and stuff that we have on our cheek. And oftentimes I will try to avoid it. Now, the one from Charlotte Tilbury does do really pretty. So this is one of my favorites from Charlotte Tilbury, the Ecstasy. It doesn't exaggerate wrinkles and orange peel and all of that. So this one from Armani Beauty, I think even has more of a pearlized look than the Ecstasy from Charlotte Tilbury, but still soft enough on the skin where it does not exaggerate orange peel texture. It just gives your skin such a beautiful glow. You guys, I think this might be my new favorite blush of 2023. I'm going that far. And I've got so many that I've been flipping over, but I'm going as far as to say this is probably my favorite for the year already. Like, it's so perfect. And that is where I'm leaving it. Sound off down below. How many of you guys picked up these blushes from Armani? And did you guys pick up the bronzers from Pat McGrath? Share with us in the comment section down below your experience. I'm so curious to hear how many of you guys grabbed the shade 50 from Giorgio Armani, and what is your experience? Like, definitely you guys sound off down below. Let's just chat about it. I'm so curious. I do hope that the review was helpful. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I'm going to jump off of here and go get these roots done. So I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.